Yeah, people, again, welcome to another episode of the Boiler Room. I think this is number 8, looking strong. And tonight, I guess that my virgin Adrian, I know I kind of still want to do that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? This is killing me, so I'm virgin Adrian, give me a little voice.
Excuse me, you know I'm over the weather.
Yeah, normally I do hype up. I know I kind of on the weather kind of way. A couple of weeks ago, it was he that they say, but no, you know what I mean? But yeah, welcome to the Boiler Room. I hope I'm going to full join you know, all the clips that we share, man, you know what I mean? And like I say, it's not just one thing. So without any further ado, I will let Adrian introduce our guest for tonight. Adrian?
Yeah, people. Tonight, I am pleased to have Ronnelle and Lucy from Life in Leggings. You heard the Life in Leggings movement? No? Well, what Life in Leggings is a Caribbean-wide movement which started right here in Barbados, addressing some issues that concern women in terms of harassment and violence against women. I don't know if I did them justice, but I'm going to let them add on anything that I may have missed or expand. Could you please?
Lucy's always left to me for that. I always do. So, Life in Leggings started as a safe space for Caribbean women to share their experiences with sexual violence. So now it's a registered charity, and it focuses on tackling gender-based violence in the Caribbean region. Yeah, that's just a compressed explanation.
Oh, that one was a quick one.
Yeah.
It's pretty concise.
There are a lot of layers to it.
So what's the first layer? You talk about a platform to share. That's how it started.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so you had experiences of women sharing their experiences of street harassment. It started off with street harassment, then the levels started to grow in terms of sexual violence. You had vivid accounts of rape, assault, workplace harassment.
So go ahead.
Sorry, it started with these stories online underneath a hashtag, and then that hashtag went regional, and it even crossed throughout the Caribbean diaspora on many levels. And like Ronnelle said, it started with let's talk about being street harassed. Let's talk about when you walk down the street and somebody decides that they're gonna seize at you, or somebody decides that they're gonna make a comment about a part of your body, and in talking about that, let's really shine a light on how much we don't appreciate it. We as women don't appreciate it, women and girls. And then we started talking about girls' experience of it, from perspective of mothers who would say what happened with their daughters or what happened to them when they were younger and what their mother then did. So it became intergenerational as well, where even outside of the online space that was created, people were having these conversations in their homes, because Life in Leggings became this thing with loads of people started seeing on their timeline, women that they knew, women that they loved, women that they may have admired, suddenly talking about situations that they would not have imagined them going through. And so it really shone a light on how prevalent and how often these situations occur, and also how women feel in those situations.
So it started as women talking about men accosting them on the street.
You know, my little friend.
That kind of thing?
That thing right there.
Yeah, right.
And then it went on to women sharing deeper stories about experiences that they had.
And that was through the solidarity, because we created this space where people felt comfortable enough to share, but then they realized how connected the two situations were. That one situation where I'm walking down the street and somebody thinks he's entitled to tell me something is very akin to a situation when I'm in a more private situation and somebody is trying to take or is
trying to coerce you.
Yeah, attempting to be more entitled through coercion or assault by touching. So they saw that parallel, and because the space was safe enough and they felt empowered enough and felt like there was solidarity between all the voices speaking, they spoke within the hashtag. There was also another hashtag that went alongside of it, which was from the inbox, where people would then speak out, where women would then reach out to those that had decided that they would be kind of advocates for that or conduits, and then they would say their stories, and then those stories are then put online so that people could remain anonymous. Because as we know in the Caribbean, anonymity is pretty hard because we're a small islands. So yeah, that became another thing.
Another thing was, I guess also the progression was that we were taught to silence, these experiences.
Silence them?
Yeah, I would say silence. Like we, ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Smile at yourself.
Yeah, smile at yourself. So basically, if something has, like, if I'm walking down the street and someone shouts at me, because it's not encouraged for me to retaliate and say, well, don't do that. Don't make me feel uncomfortable in this public setting. I deserve to feel, to exist without this harassment in this public space. That I kind of just, like, push it down and continue about my day. So I silence myself.
Because that's a big part of Caribbean culture.
Yeah.
At least I can speak for Barbados. A big part of Caribbean culture. It's kind of accepted that if you walk down the street as a woman,
see you look pretty, I'm gonna be like, yo, my little friend, what's going on? But the thing about it is, as far as silence goes, I don't want to feel like nobody should tell nobody don't walk on the mountain so that don't do something to them. You know what I mean? That's being human. You know what I mean? You can't see me walking and you're like, yo, Rasta man. You go out there, you look at you like you foolish. Like I can just walk over the bike, the people, I mean, just to sell you. That's the same, it's going across the board. They don't just start realize that you're women, but the one part where I really get baptized into the life and leggings movement was when Sharian Norris, I think her name is, she had mention of it and thing, but how she described it, like it was rough. Because she was saying like, yo, because I see it happen. Don't get me wrong, I see it happen right in front of me. But the thing about what you look at, when she was saying that if you don't step up and say something, sometimes they know the men that saying something might go a strap on them.
Yeah.
I got a pen or a pencil or a little pocket knife in my pocket. You go to them the wrong way, you could get clapped.
And it's the same thing that the women then have to face, which is when a man comes at you, seats at you, holler at you, you don't know if that man got a gun. You don't know what that man's intention really is. So that
women have been actually killed
because they've rejected people or they've not given people like the aggression that we face when I could tell you when I walk down the road and somebody is like, psst, and then I don't look at them and then suddenly it's like, well, you look real stink, and then all of a sudden it's like cuss word upon cuss word, and I'm just like.
And then he starts to turn and look to the other men around him to be like, not like if to reaffirm his rage in a sense that she ain't really look that good or whatever. Because and even though the men ain't saying nothing, their silence to him means that they kind of agree because they're not opposing and saying, well, fam.
But I get out from a man point of view. Me as a man, when you see that again and she don't notice you, and you turn around and tell me all the I just stand up and look at you. You stupid. For real, you gonna be stupid? Are you dumb? It gonna be a reason why she ain't answer you, why she ain't paying you the money. Why you gonna turn around now to ask me or tell me something about the woman? She made the point on you. That I call it a point, like, yo, I serve points you on the day. Like, yo, she just made a point on you, like, you lost. She didn't even pay you the money. She didn't even look at you. She didn't even give you the attention that you want. Dude,
but then we
move on. God, jump in the bed and what I'm saying.
But then we also need to start talking about why it is that, as you can very easily notice that person has just received rejection. But why is it that when some guys receive rejection, they go into this fit of rage and they go into this uncontrollable kind of this feeling that I have to win in some way or another?
Because
that's
ego.
Something we need to teach. Exactly. That's
it's an ego thing.
Because men about.
Everyone like, let me say two of y'all walk down the road and you're like, my friend, and one of the one say that to me. The other 8 men out there that ain't saying nothing, and be like, yo, you see, you don't even noticing you, boy, go home and bathe. You know what I mean? It be like a push down to them. So now, in order for them to feel more gratitude, then you look at you and start to find other words to tell you. But in the meantime, the same other man back there saying, yo, he's a real ass. So he don't really get, it might look like gratification on a woman point, whereas like them men there saying, they saying that, but so the men is disrespect them. And the thing about it is,
so
you could do that.
Just because the men are not vocal and keeping noise, that don't mean that they're supporting.
Yeah, they're doing all of it. Like, I ain't saying in some cases they do support them, but in some things, men be like, yo, he retarded. Like, so you actually hear men say, like, yo, he's so stupid. Like, I know what I do, for instance. Hey, boy, John, don't lay inferior on my family. But anyway, better point. Every woman that pass, my friend, your boss, see that guy, this, that, the next, and the third, right? Every time he open his mouth, I be like, I just waiting that one day somebody can just come straight and just hit you on all your teeth and turn into chiclets. And you can just chew them and swallow them. Because to me, it's like, I can't get the reason why you just keep doing it. But they know, on the other side, they got women that are accepting of that behavior.
And that's something else that we
That's the fight that when really got is that. Like, I ain't saying that this is not a fight against the men that doing it, but they got women that you tell them, yo, my friend, you're nucky fuck. Yo, he's an idiot, yeah. You know what I mean? You tell a girl, if you try to be nice, you say something like, my friend have a nice day or something, she don't want to notice you. My friend ain't want to bully you. Yo, you saying that? See how
you get a reaction?
Wait a minute. I mean, I don't want to deal with them types. You know what I mean? I let them know, like, yo, damn my speed. You know what I mean? Because if that's where God says they get a rebel to you, they got disrespect. I mean, that's beyond disrespectful. No, you know what's that? Somebody want to bully them?
To be honest, I've never even thought that that could be one of the reasons why it gets as graphic as it gets. Because I've just been sitting there and just be like, why do you think that by telling me you want to boo me, I can be like, yes, daddy, let's go? Like, how do you think that's going to happen?
It is possible it works.
But in some, that's what in some cases, right, some women is accepting of it.
If you socialize a woman to think that a man hollering at you on the street is a compliment, would you expect you to respond? I mean, it also goes into how we socialize women. Because we socialize women as well to accept some really fucked up things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, same way how we socialize women to think that the other woman is her enemy, we socialize women to think that street harassment is actually a compliment.
I mean, we also need to start...
But, I mean, sorry, oh shit. But basically, you could tell, for me, I mean, even though I was socialized that way, I just didn't like it. Right. I really did not.
You don't
like
got to accept man, everybody push down you short. That's the thing. You do that to young birds.
I know, but sometimes we have to remember all the different situations that these women or these girls might be coming from, because sometimes it happens from the time that you're like tiny, and you're about 5 and somebody hits you and you're just like, well, he just likes you, that's okay. And then you're like, okay, so I can equate love with violence or affection with violence. Right. Therefore, 2 = 2 means 5. I can keep that equation in my head. And then when I get a little bit older and I start growing breasts and then the men are giving me a certain amount of attention, then suddenly that is also something that we expect, because if you're attractive as a young lady, that means you're going to get that attention. And that's also something we need to appreciate. And so the more that kind of comes into your head and you're told that, we also are told that as women, the most important thing we can have is our beauty, right, or our sexual attractiveness. Right. And if we begin to think that those are the only parts of values that we have as people, then it's very easy to see where that toxicity and that idea that we must always have a positive response to men comes from. And then when we also start looking at like some of the stories on the Leggings hashtag was about the sexual abuse, the children's sexual abuse that happened. And when you start thinking about what children go through and what that effect has, what that trauma effect can have on a child, their self-esteem gets ruined. So when they latch their self-esteem onto beauty, and then you put that into the equation as well, you begin to see exactly why women might think it might be best if I just kind of laugh and giggle when he tells me that my pussy fat.
But that's in a way too, like, all right, for instance, women is get judged on a lot of funny things that men don't get judged on. Like, for instance, if a man got 8 women, he's a hard seed. It's true. If a man got 8 women, 8 men, she worthless, but don't go wrong, she got saying and things. So as one always the balance. And then no, but what is the funny thing? The same man that got 8 women, there's the funny thing that is get me. He got me and woman and all the other women before he to get to that main spot. So exactly, like, how can show you respect when you know that you and Sabrina was fighting down the street for Darl attention because Darl is the chief on the block. You understand? And then you want respect. I know girls that things happen to, I mean things and get the nucky cut up and all of that there, serious things, I mean rough. I come from that part of the world, people shot the even certain things, you see them, like for instance, they see 2 little girls in the van stand fighting. There's a video that going wrong. Watch, a man, this is exactly how a man was standing up for the van like this. Just to make sure they ain't going on the van, and he don't even care that these 2 little young girls fighting. 2 other people had to come from out of the video camera range now and running and park these 2 little girls with a whole bunch of people there. You understand? And there's what people is always say. People always go back to this part. I ain't getting involved because I ain't one day. These young sis killing you nowadays. You can date easy. So like in a case where as like women walking on the street and getting harassed, a man might be a punk and tell you say if we say anything, this man gonna slap me and my mouth, but he really won't speak up. But in his mind he telling himself the minute I say saying I can get met look like a punk out here.
But there's also another opportunity for men to speak up. And that does sorry, my voice is a little bit funny. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen in that moment. I mean, we understand that saviorism is problematic, and you have to keep yourself safe at all times.
I never heard that one before, saviorism.
Saviorism. It's the concept of basically trying to be a savior. And that can be problematic. But what you can do as guys is when you're having conversation with your friends and you hear your friends say something or disrespect women in a certain way, and then that alarm bell goes off and you know you got a certain relationship with that brethren, you could just be like, to be honest, why you think you think like that, or talk them through that process. And just like that, we start challenging behaviors. And these men probably have never been challenged before in their life.
But that's it, yeah. And the thing is too.
Say you're right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's the thing is too, like, suddenly you will see men stand up and you will see 100 men there standing up. But only one, a man only know one man of that crowd. So if he step up now to see something, he don't know the rest of men. Next, you know, we got even a bigger problem. Because it's got from one extreme to the next, like that nowadays. It don't got that, like years ago, it be, man, will do this and that. Nowadays, it's beyond that extreme, like, bam,
now
like,
you,
quick.
Now you put it like that. So if I, as a man, don't want to tell the man, listen, you're wrong, because I'm afraid of what he might do. Imagine how women is feel daily walking down the street and men approaching them constantly.
Hey, you understand? And you don't know, bitch, of them women too also get hurt when they was younger.
That's right.
And timid and thing, you know, because I don't know, like, right, there's a video sure be panting, but I swear to God, and the heavens above, if I ever see anybody get treated, like how my mother and my sister get treated by the men that I had before, anybody ever lay the hand on any of my family, Adrian, you can do the show by yourself. You can get me to come and be your horse, because somebody head coming off. That's it. And that's good, like, the way how I grew up and see it, that's what gave me the mentality like that there. You know what I mean? Like for my nieces, I got one niece alive and the other one like my little sister. She tell me one thing that, yo, making sport, I'm gonna hate she. And it was in New York, big man. I wanted to come through the phone and she was like, Uncle, cool, you only making sport. I'm like, yo, don't make that kind of sport because you know what your mother went through. And that happening to you.
And then on top of that, like, the thing is that I walk around with that rage daily. And I know you walk around with that rage too. And we experience
based on your own experiences?
Based on my own experiences, based on the experiences of my family members, based on the experience. Look, to tell you the truth, when the hashtag was going on, you had to put on several layers of thickness. Like, you had to get several layers of thick to deal with all the thing that was coming at you.
Like, everybody was on a rotation. Like,
every day.
I don't usually do Facebook, but when that was going on, I was reading. How's the truth?
The amount, because I have had traumatic experiences and I have had sexual abuse, etc. in my past. So to deal with my own triggered emotions and my own triggered responses when some of these ladies are being as graphic, and I'm being like, oh my God, that story is like my story. And that moment is like my moment. Imagine like having to deal with that created this rage inside of me. And you do realize that that's a realistic human reaction to these things that are going on. But we just have to, it's not so much bottle it, but I guess kind of redirect the rage and the energy and put your thinking head on and be like, okay, so you know that this is going on internally, but then how do we turn that into something so that my daughter, my niece, doesn't have to experience this?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because as I was reading, right, my thinking was, this can just be some venting for a few days and eventually can die off and we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Because that's the norm. That's the norm, bro. That's the norm.
That is what I expected.
You know what I mean? Hey, boy, kick up rumpus.
That's what everybody's hoping for.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what people
keep quiet, yes, no, but it turned into something. Because you see them march through the city and all that there.
Really channeled that rage into positive action, so I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, she was out front.
She was like all over the place.
Yeah, she was like Punka. Yeah, she was out front and all that. I can remember seeing her when I was in by sports and games there on Robert. I bought him on Robert Street. I remember seeing her running up and like a couple of my friends. I think Zinga was there too. Yeah, and thing, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And when you look at it, at some point, that's what I tell people. If you keep saying no, right? And these women just show you how strength in numbers is a count for something, you know. It might not look that big to you, but then when you leave and get somewhere else and look back on it, then you really see. You see, it don't look that big to you jumping it, you know. It don't look deep. Hey, look, man, look, I could walk from here all the way out there. But when you get up at a certain point, then you realize how massive it is. And it just shows that these women just come together and join and form something that you like, damn.
The thing is,
it wasn't just a mumble rap. Big shit for real.
But you got something to get you. You need to let go of the mumble rap. I can try, man.
I hold them.
Just don't get the mumble rap for life and like this. Why you talking mumble rap? I know mumble rap for life and like this.
This morning, it's been a day. It's been a day.
Yeah, you know, it's not. So that's it. I mean, like, it's strength in numbers. And it's constantly hear people in the hood and get hoes, as we call it, saying, you know what I mean? Man, that ain't gonna happen. You gotta keep it this way. If you sit down with that here, life and like this is a real, like, something to sit down and look at. All like, yo, look, they started with a hashtag. A hashtag, any boy could just a hashtag. Bam, you know how much people be texting during the day? So it's just a hashtag. But then what turned into? Something that went worldwide.
Catch a fire.
You understand? You start a can for a small or I only ban this little piece of that, so you know you ban on the whole of St. Lucy. You understand? So that's where it is. You understand? So that's how it goes. Remember to just do it. But that's they show people, other people out there. And it might just look like life on leggings on the top layer, as they say is layer state, but then beneath that there's a whole bunch of other people start to look up and say, like, yo, look, why could do this too? Because they started something, because they didn't like something. Yeah. And it didn't just turn into street harassment. They always say it turned into women that was getting beat up and all this. Because this happened on the regular.
It's a problem.
I told you, man, slap both women and like there was nothing. But then on the other side of the flip coin, there's women that say you can't got them unless you beat them. What you say about that?
I have a brethren from Grenada who told me just this week. He said when he came to Barbados, he had the gentleman's approach, and he found it wasn't working.
Sometimes it don't work.
He got a much better response when he was a little rougher.
Look like he was a nerd.
But we do have that experience, and that is our reality. Women sometimes perpetuate harmful notions from what we acknowledge as the patriarchy, which is this idea that men are supposed to be on top or however you want to break that down. And so when women prescribe into that notion, they sometimes end up doing or saying internally harmful things. Because marginalized people...
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Actually, it's across the board in terms of marginalized people. You have persons who are in that same marginalized group who are opposed to the progress. I mean... Hell, there were black people that were against the abolition of slavery and the civil rights movement. It's true. So, I mean, it's across the board in terms of marginalized.
I got black people that all for mumble rap. I mean,
oh, my goodness.
You know what I mean?
I thought he was going to say Trump.
Yeah,
hold on. And Trump too. Get it all over. Right. But I just want to get the mumble rap out there because he got me good, bro. But that's the whole thing. And
you got Ben Carson's of every marginalized.
No, he don't even want to talk about because he come on a cruise ship. He's the only boy that he family come on a cruise ship. Everybody else can on a slave ship.
I burnt all my books when it comes to Ben Carson. When he opened his mouth, right, I was like, does it seem? No, man, there's somebody else.
But you hear the explanation he gave afterwards? How he was explaining it? You gonna hear that? I think the other part, he said...
They are voluntary immigrants and they are involuntary
immigrants. Something, he was saying...
Involuntary immigrants. You need to look up the word immigrant.
Right. But he ain't gonna look up the word ignorant because we already know what part that is. He got that one. He got that one right there. He know Ben Carson for that. At least you know what we glad he ain't part of life and like it's called people like, you know what? I don't really think there's a good group to the end.
That's a good look for one, huh?
Yeah, he ain't a good look. Not any long. And you know what killed me? He ain't a brain surgeon.
Bright man.
He probably performed in lobotomy on himself.
I don't even know where he performed, but he said
it's just go to show. It's just go to show how deep culture goes, and it doesn't matter if you are the most educated person in the world. Right. If you're in the gutter, culture will get you unless you really, really fight back and really try to reprogram yourself.